Hi, my name's Dee and welcome to Sunchild Tarot and welcome to not your traditional monthly readings. I hope I am going to get time to do the monthly readings this month, but I'm going to do these ones first, and then of course we've got the eclipse coming up and I've got quite a few hours at work, so I'll get out what I can. There's a few things I wanted to do. Now, if you've watched me for a while, you know that I like to use a lot of decks. I always like to test myself. That's why I fairly constantly get new decks. And there's when I used to teach a tarot course, some 20 years ago, I used to say to people, you can use anything for divination, as above, so below, as within, so without. In a holographic universe, everything is contained in a piece of everything else. There's so if you wanted to use cutout photos from OK and Hello magazine, assuming that's a symbolism that you are familiar with and that you're comfortable with, crack on, you do it. So obviously with that sort of thing, you need a symbolic alphabet because you're going to have a limited amount of photos. Now, I've wanted to do, and thanks to the eclipse, I think, has finally given me the courage to do this on YouTube, is I've wanted to do a reading using also Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Now, I've never actually played. I've tried to play, but I love the Yu-Gi-Oh anime. I love Yu-Gi-Oh. Full stop. I love Yu-Gi-Oh. Now, with this amount of cards and more to come, no doubt, because I'll probably start shopping for them now. The worry about a symbolic alphabet is not quite as intense. So, because there's plenty to work with. And I was flicking through them the other night and just like, oh, yeah, these will be perfect. It's about time I decided to do it. Now, last night, I decided to have a look at YouTube to see if anyone else had done it. And I found a video from a Tony Ziegler who did a video about talking about using the Yu-Gi-Oh cards for divination and then never did another video again. So, has Tony Ziegler been co-opted by the Shadow Games? Now, if you don't know what I mean and you don't know your Yu-Gi-Oh, the whole idea is based that apparently this is an ancient Egyptian tradition where they were basically having astral battles with called the Shadow Games. And so these are supposedly all related to ancient Egyptian gods and what have you. Although they were ancient Egyptian gods that seem to be completely made up for the show, but who cares? What a beautiful image these Shadow Games are. Apart from when they're not, but everything has its good and its bad side. So, assuming that I don't get co-opted by the Shadow Games and whipped away somehow, you will see these videos. But it should be fun. Now, as ever, it's a general reading. General reading rules apply. Do not give away your power to a tarot reader. I should be telling you stuff that you probably already know. As ever, I will say take the reading as a whole or not. I'm going to be using the Celtic cross this time. There's a past and a present in that spread. If the past and the present do not fit, don't try and make it fit. Go and watch your moon, go and watch your rising. In fact, always try to watch your rising, and so you don't have to listen to my blurb a second time. There is a timestamp down in the description to get past it straight to the reading. Now, also down there is a link to a birth chart, two different online birth chart generators if you don't know what your rising sign is, because that's something that if you have your birth time, you need to know it. Now, also down there is the Facebook page for this channel. Now, that's got its own inbox, so if you want to approach me for a personal reading, that's the best way to do it. There is also a link tree there for my email and for my Tumblr and for like all different other Twitter. But seriously, Facebook inbox is the best way to get hold of me. Now, as ever, I would say ask a question prior to the reading, pause the video, think about all the questions that are around you and be aware of all of them. Focus on one of them, but be aware of all of them. Cards will answer what they want. Now I am trying to grow the channel, so thank you to my returning subscribers, and If you are new here, welcome, and feel free to press the subscribe button while you're passing. And also, a like helps each video get seen. And I'm rather hoping, I'm so looking forward to doing these Yu-Gi-Oh readers. Now, there will be a couple of Oracle cards in as well, because I can never resist these. But yeah, that's about it. So like I said, general reading, timing's not absolute. Other people, if they turn up in the reading, I see actions and energies, so maybe I get you and them mixed up. I don't think it happens that often. And nobody, I always say, if it does happen, comment down below, let me know. And nobody has done yet. So yeah, let's crack on. I'll bring up your cards. Okay, the first thing that I see here, Libra, is something I want to say. The world is not against you. Even though right now in this card, in this reading, the world is against you. It is the opposition. But if you look at what Spirit is bringing in for you, we have 10 of Cups. There's a certain amount of some form of resolution, which one would assume would be emotional, coming in for you, because Spirit is bringing in 10 of Cups, the happy, happy, joy, joy card, you know, the better than wish fulfillment. The only better card than that really is the Sun card, neither of which are my favourite cards, but that's irrelevant. But this is guided in with Renge, Gatekeeper of Dark World. His renowned athletic physique has made him famous with the populace of Dark World. They call him Iron Wall Renge because no one can break through his incredible defences. Ah, now that's interesting, because where I feel that you are at the moment is that you are studying things and you're seeing that there is some form of transformation. It feels impersonal. It feels like you are aware there is a personal transformation needing to occur. You are aware that the as without, outside of you is transforming, and you're not sure where that's going to end up yet. We've got the Hanging Man here as what you've been left to work with. But remember, things are all, with the Hanged Man card, things are made to look different, to look confusing, to get you to look at them in different ways, to almost basically to get you to have new wisdoms, new insights, new knowledge of the same old, same old. But this is, you're getting Mercury retrograded during this period, which obviously means review, revisit, reassess. But there are communication issues that are going to be troublesome for you, as in, what I want to say with this is misunderstandings. We've got Infected Male spell card. As one of the two cards, I hadn't noticed two had fallen out, but one of the two cards clarifying this Hanged Man or Hanging Man. And I rather feel that this is something like that there's information that you've received recently that's literally sent a bolt of lightning through you, and like, I have to do something. Now, whether this is what has initiated the transformation, or whether this is what is you've had the sudden realization of this transformation occurring, because as I say, it's happening around you with the world being in the opposition position, clarified by Burial from a Different Dimension, which is all about bringing things back, but putting them in the opposing players, putting them in players' graveyards. So it's something that had been considered to not exist that you're finally putting to rest, which is very similar in a way to, I think it was the Virgo reading. And interestingly, for Leo and Virgo and yourself, there is one very busy angel this month, which is Shatael, the Angel of Silence, which is very much about an overwhelming silence descending, forcing you to study things and awaken other senses. Forcing you to study things in a way that fear becomes irrelevant. Because hopes and fears, we have the Ace of Pentacles, There is a new beginning coming. That might be something you hope for. That might be something that you fear. And I'm going to go on the fear aspect of this because with it being clarified by this metal morph card, I'm wanting to say that you don't know what that new transformation is going to change into. But I believe that you're protected with this. As I say, 10 of Cups being brought in by Spirit. And here we have Horus with slow victory, showing that I always envisage Horus as son of Osiris. I always envisage Horus as a sun god, and I'm not entirely sure now whether that is correct or not, because Ra would be the sun god. But there's a certain nobility and shiningness about Horus. Now, we'll read from the book with this card because what he has to say is really interesting. We have Persephone with transformation, and as I say, the judgment card on how you're feeling, that there is this transformation occurring, and you know it's leading somewhere. This is clarified by the beckoning light spell card, trap card. And I think the fact that that's a trap card rather than a spell card also helps give that feeling of, oh, is this what I wanted? Because I get the impression that these feelings very much are all a result of some form of, maybe some form of deal with this dark deal card, or maybe some form of decision, some form of compromise that you gave it a go. You gave it a go and everything crumbled. You gave it a go and it all went horribly wrong, and you didn't get what you was wanting, and quite possibly other people didn't get what they was wanting. And you made this one decision, and the consequences of it visually, as you look at the moment, are just like, oh my God, what have I done? Why have I done this? Everything's gone horribly wrong. And I want to say that in the short-term story, absolutely, my God, you messed up. But on the long-term story, not so much. Because if you hadn't messed up, if you hadn't taken that risk, for example, is it a risk that you took, or is it something that you've agreed to that didn't turn out the way anybody was expecting? Either way, you wouldn't be here now, because there is energy coming in for you that's going to build a big structure, almost through, I want to say almost through those things that tempt you. There is a chance to level up, to open up to a new layer of you. Page of Pentacles here represented by Marax, the Goetic spirit Marax. Because as you know, I always clarify the devil card with one of my demon-possessed tarot. Now, Marax teaches astronomy and the liberal sciences, knows the virtues of precious stones and herbs, and gives very good familiars. Again, there's that image with good familiars of support occurring, even though you ain't going to see it. This is more the invisible type support. This is more your spooky. So this is more your gods, your spirit guides, your angels, whoever are supporting you during this process. But you'd been shocked into an awareness of this impending transformation, or that this transformation is already occurring. And now it's almost like you're left hanging to go, now what? Now what? But this is to allow you, one, do not trust all of the information that you are given. It's Mercury retrograde for one thing, and a lot of the astrologers, are saying that the worrisome part of this Mercury retrograde is less, communications going awry or astray or not arriving, and more misunderstandings of them once they get there. So double check your own reactions, double check the information that you've been given. If the information that you have been given is about somebody's reaction to something, double check that, one, that is their reaction, and two, that it was an appropriate reaction, because you may look at it and go, hang on a minute, but basically 2 plus 2 does not equal 5. So we need to do something about this, because they're wrong on, or out of order, or however you want to look at it, on how they're reacting to this thing. And how they're reacting to this thing has defined the way that they give you information, which you can then quite innocently react in the wrong way to. I mean, it may be the right way to react to it, but if it's wrong information in the first place, there is no right way to react. Because also there's this star changer. I feel like your goals here are going to be changing, which is a really interesting sort of, yeah, that from here, I mean, certainly with that Judgment card and with the Persephone here representing transformation, also hinting at like a 6-month span for this reading. But there's this sense that your goals will end up changing, because you'll be looking at some of them and you go, oh yeah, that doesn't mean anything to me anymore, because there is guidance around you from, and I want to say people rather than from spirit, from people. There is guidance around you, or a new option that's being offered to you that is good, and it wants to be tempting. And if you are tempted by it, even if you think, nah, I'm not entirely convinced by it, investigate it further. If it gets those temptation juices flowing, then it's something to pay attention to and examine. You might not go for it, but I think even the act of examining it and then not going for it teaches you about what you are going to be going for, that gets this star changer, goal changing energy into motion. Because if you do go for this tempting offer or tempting guidance, then great. But if you don't, it's like a reverse Yod Hey Vow going on. By not going for it, you define what is not, which naturally defines a what is, and therefore you know to go for the what is. Now, the reason I'm so positive about all of this, because let's not forget, even though the world is not against you, the world's totally against you at the moment, so it appears. But I think you'll find that in the long term, what's happening now has less and less relevance to the bigger picture in time. We have, for the final outcome, we've got the Eight of Wands, so things will start moving. Trust me, things will start moving, but you've got to do this examination process first. And that is clarified by Zodiac, Herald of Heaven. Now, I don't necessarily even need to read much about him, apart from I find that a lovely, oh, let me bring that back a bit so it focuses. I find that a lovely, reassuring image. That should autofocus, oh well. Because that shows the good stuff coming in, and it is going to come in, but you've got to go through this poo bit first. That is why, with this Ten of Cups, Spirit is bringing in this whole Renge, gatekeeper of the dark world. So he is, as a gatekeeper of the dark world, he is an immovable iron wall. So you are protected, but as gatekeeper is going, look, here's my dark world. Examine it, experience it. You're safe while you do it, but experience it, learn from it. So with Horus, I did say I would read from the book from this one, because I found myself quite moved in relation to all of the cards. Because, like I say, again, Knight of Swords on the bottom of the deck here. This is indicating information coming to you that's that lightning bolt that starts everything off. What's on the bottom of the Yu-Gi-Oh deck? We have Gambara Knight, which I remember from the cartoons. Now, Gambara Knight is very much a card again, I find him to be a defensive knight. He's got 2 shields. So again, you are protected during all of this while the information is coming. And bear in mind that not all the information that you are receiving is correct, but all of it, the examination of it, is helping you reassess where your goals are, and that takes you to a good place. So all this poo stuff, wherever you made this mistake, whatever it was, whether it was agreeing to something or making a deal with somebody or making a compromise that you now feel uncomfortable with or just didn't work out, there's a reason for it. It is getting you to a better place. It's just still in the process of getting you into a better place. So, Horus. Channeled message from Horus. My statue at Edfu Temple cannot fully represent my true glory and power. You, too, are not yet recognized for your true abilities, and success will take time. There are still trials to overcome. So call on my mother Osset, Isis, and goddess Maat, who assisted me until finally I was victorious over Set. His uncle who chopped up his father. But yeah, Isis, Osset, and Maat. So you've got to be striving for that sense of balance and that sense of nurturing, but you are protected here. It's still a poo time. I know it's still a poo time, but it's going to get you to a better time. So yeah, I mean that's lovely. Good luck for the short term, but for the longer term, that's really, really nice. Now, I didn't deal with Flelf much, but does he change my message at all? Yeah, that guidance that's good or tempting and good, it could be quick. It could be something that you catch a glimpse of and then it's gone. So it's something that you will have to react to, again, using that speed of the Knight of Swords, the speed of the Eight of Wands. But you may not see it at the moment, but there's a way out of all of this, and you are being taken by the hand to go out of it, but you need to put the work in. So, if that means anything to you, Libra, because it's quite specific, really, isn't it? If that means anything to you, Libra, do comment down below. Obviously, please press like, share, and subscribe while you're here, especially the subscribe, because it really helps the channel. I'm still trying to build the channel. And if you like these just general Yu-Gi-Oh readings, tell me, because they're a lot of fun to do, and I think I'm going to keep doing this. Now, there will be monthly readings, but probably the eclipse readings will come out first because busy month coming up. Okay. Yeah.